This time I speak to you here from Vienna. I've been for the last about 2.5 weeks in my favorite city in Europe, which I lived in for about 15 years. And I knew it's going to be an emotional trip because, going back to what the Americans call the old world and the beauty of the old world and the architecture. We're right now here in the middle of the Schönboden Park and, the Emperor's Castle is over there, and it's like you're imbued with the history and old Europe. And of course, being in the city, being downtown, being in the many different places we visited in the last few days. And I know it's going to be kind of hard to leave after that, because it's always a part of me. I grew up here, born in Germany, lived here in Vienna, where I, of course, have a love for Europe and the culture here. And yesterday particularly we went to the Albertina, which is it's a beautiful old building right close to the opera in downtown Vienna in the first district. And we looked at an exhibition from Monet and his whole development, and then furthermore into Picasso and a few more of the more modern artists here. And it was a very touching, very powerful experience. So on top of all the culture in the city, we looked at an exhibition that really moved me and touched me deeply. And as much as I can sort of I appreciate the beauty and the depth and the amazing, historical embeddedness when I'm here in Europe, the stuff that I tend to talk about, oneness, interconnectedness, hyperconnectivity of everything, nature, energy flow, electromagnetism, waking up to our bodies in the depth of a miracle. That stuff, it doesn't matter where I am, it seems like there is a certain line to be crossed when you want to bring it up. There is a certain resistance to overcome. And while, that is very different in America. And it feels like it has a different texture. It's like a different stack of different things that are in each one of the environments, that in each one of the cultures. Something may be tighter on that level, while other things may be more open on other levels. The depth of what needs to be touched in these very challenging times we live in is everywhere the same. It's like a push toward questions that we haven't asked in a very long time. And I feel like this time with everything coming at us with a lot of conflicting messages that don't fit together. How can we keep going in this ever repeating the history in the same kind of way over and over and over again? And those moments in time, or this whole phase we're living in, is forcing us to look at questions that we haven't looked at in a long time. How do we belong to each other? What do we really want to be for each other? And in my conversations with nieces, nephews, friends, or even a random guy at the Albertina exhibition, those topics seem to be popping up and the questions seem to be coming out. People seem to ask, so what can I do? How can I relate to all of this? And without coming up with a quick answer to all of this, and and even I don't know if I have the answer. I may have a few. I may have some ideas that are helpful. What's more important is that we engage into that conversations wherever we go. That we have the guts. The art of those artists really kind of pushed me and told me come on, reach into the future, reach into that which we haven't seen yet, and draw from that questions, and then have the guts to bring them up with each other, to tackle them, to move them forward. How do I live my individual life to the fullest? How do I live my own purpose to the fullest? And yet, how do I do it not by separating from the rest and disconnecting and just, focus on my own needs and my own fulfillment, but to embed that into our we space that we can share, that is uplifting for everybody. And so I feel very, very excited to be here in Europe and to work in Europe and come back here and be here on an ongoing basis, particularly because my son just moved here. and I just want to be around them. But I feel so settled in my work. It doesn't matter where I'm at in the planet, on the planet. It doesn't matter in what culture I am covered. And so for me, it was very helpful to let go a little bit of my judgment. What's the better culture? And it's always in our heads, like, oh my God, I want to live there. That's the better place. This is the better place. And yet, we're all in the same boat. I guess that's what I got from this visit. And yeah, I thought I shared that with you. Okay. Until next time.